learning experience to say the least. One of the houses that we went to only had one room. It was their kitchen. They sat on the floor, no furniture, nothing fancy, no decorations, and honestly, I was just very humbled by it and amazed at how happy you can be with so many little material possessions. And I think that just reinforced the importance of having a strong foundation in your faith.
Harunye maruna, harunye marunya, harunye marunya, harunye marunya, harunye marunya, harunye marunya, harunye marunya.
What I noticed at worship today with the baptism is that when we usually have one, they have like six, and they have all their family up there and everything. One thing that I noticed while we were worshiping at Bafula was that the church was really open, and then when we got in there, a lot of the people didn't have shoes, and then a lot of them had really old clothes that they mixed matched together, or they were broken or ripped.
So we went to a lot of the villages that weren't sponsored yet. They possibly had formed a church, but they didn't have a school, and they weren't supported by anybody. I really appreciate getting to go to these villages because I've seen Bafula and Mulabuti were some of the villages that had been supported, and now they had schools and a running church and a lot of support, and you could see the difference. And it was great to see what the church has done for these other villages, and I had a lot of hope for what could happen for these new villages that we went to. Something that was my favorite part was the welcoming that they had. I have never seen anybody so welcoming in the United States or honestly anywhere else that I've been.
So the first day, we went on Sunday and had church there, and we made bracelets with the kids, and there was only a few, the ones that went to church, And so we made bracelets, and they were really patient because we did like groups at a time. So if you weren't doing it, you were in the back just waiting. And so like kids would also just come in and sneak in again to make another one, and it was really funny. And so we did that, and then we just like 2 girls took me in right away, Sissy and Kate, and they like showed me around, and the whole time I was in this huge mob of kids, and it was just a really fun time. And at the end we passed out fidget spinners to the older kids, and they had a great time with that. So
Hey,
Hey.
Casper.
Sorry about the lighting.
We
It
look like
sucked.
ghosts.
Yeah, and also sorry for the stopping of answers because of the bugs and the answers that I just kind of stopped. And hopefully you were looking at these videos and not a lot of other people, because yikes. But yeah.
Right, so today we were able to go to the Children's Hospital in Jinja. I have to say that I expected it to be pretty rough, and it definitely was one of the roughest things I've ever seen. Just the lack of sanitation in the hospital, the lack of care that each of the patients got, the way that they were all stuffed into a room smaller than my bathroom was really shocking. I saw it was supposed to be, I think, a neonatal room, essentially, and I walked in and there's about 10 preemie babies shoved in one room. Each of them were about this big, and their moms were, laying on the floor on just a mat, and there were bugs crawling on the ground.
Today was my first day doing activities with the other girl, and I thought it was really interesting because I got to hear about different tribes and their cultures and how they do things with marriage and love and engagement and all that. So, it was really fun.
well, so this was where it gets fun. We get off the bus, and I felt like a celebrity. I mean, everyone's around me and chanting my name and things, and they're like all asking me questions, and everyone knew my name from the first day, and it was just so fun. And we played netball that day, and I got to play the drums, and it was just fun to see everyone again. I got a chicken for a gift from one of my sponsored kids, and it was just fun to see the whole school there in one day instead of just the few that went to church. And word got around that we were coming again, so it was fun.
So it's been a little over 2 weeks since we've gotten back from Uganda, and I just wanted to share a couple things that I took away from the trip. The first had to do with the guilt that you feel coming back to the US. It took me a while not to feel guilty driving in my personal vehicle on a perfectly paved road to a grocery store that had all the food I could ever desire after seeing the type of culture in Uganda. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from that is that God puts us in a specific place at a specific time and has a specific plan and purpose for our lives. And we are to be good stewards of all the blessings that we've been given, big or small, and to trust in His plan for our lives. The second had to do with just the joy that we saw from all the people in Uganda. You know, they don't have much. They hardly have anything, but what they did have was joy that comes from knowing Christ, from going to church on Sunday, from reading His Word. And I think for me, that sort of renewed my joy and helped me realize, you know, knowing Christ and knowing what Jesus did on the cross for us is the best gift that you could ever receive. Why wouldn't I be excited about that? Why wouldn't I want to go to church on Sunday and be renewed? Why wouldn't I want to read my Bible and receive blessings from Christ? This trip truly changed my life, and if any of you have the opportunity to go on this trip, I highly recommend it. I can say that, you know, I left a little piece of my heart behind in Uganda, and honestly, I can't wait for the next opportunity to go back.
Being in America for the past few weeks, I've really begun to take account for all of the small blessings we have that people in Uganda would count as such huge blessings. Like one, for example, would be toilets. We have them everywhere, but in Uganda, they mainly just have holes in the ground. So just the small things like that, I've really begun to take notice of, and I've just been super thankful being back here and being able to compare it to the situations they have there versus the ones we have here. We take things for granted each and every day. So I'm just really thankful that we have everything that God gives us.